welcome everyone. Tell you that it's very, very beautiful that we're all here to commemorate this most important day, Yom Hashoah. I feel very humbled that we have survivors here. The liberator is here, survivor, liberator, and we'll be able to recognize people later in our service. Let's open up our prayer books and begin now on the very first page. This poem written by a pastor. They came for the communists and I didn't speak out because I was not a communist. First they came for the socialists and I did not speak out because I was not a socialist. First they came for the trade unionists and I did not speak out because I was not a trade unionist. First they came for the Jews and I did not speak out because I was not a Jew. And then they came for me, and there was no one left to speak out for me. We continue now on page 3. We begin with silence, the silence of death, the silence after destruction. There are times when songs falter, when darkness fills life, when martyrdom becomes a constellation of faith against the unrelieved black of space about us. There are no words to reach beyond the edge of night, no messenger to tell the full tale. There is only silence, the silence of Job, the silence of the 6 million, the silence of memory. Let us remember them as we link our silences. Ani ma'amin, ani ma'amin, ani ma'amin, emuna shema, beviat HaMashiach, beviat HaMashiach ani ma'amin, beviat HaMashiach, beviat HaMashiach ani ma'amin, ve'af al pi she'yitmamecha im kol zeh ani ma'amin, ve'af al pi she'yitmamecha im kol zeh ani ma'amin, ani ma'amin, ani ma'amin, ani ma'amin. I believe with perfect faith in the coming of the Mashiach, and even if he be delayed, I will wait for him. This kind of faith that held the people that suffered so greatly by the hands of evil. We read stories, we hear stories, we know that this type of faith was carved into the wood of the cattle cars, carved into the wood of the bunks where they slept. Somehow, in the midst of atrocity, keeping this faith. What a legacy these memories leave for us. I read on page 5 an example of what we just spoke of. Here in this carload, I, Eve, with my son Abel. If you see my older brother Cain, the son of Adam, tell him that so much, so many words unfinished, so many lives unsung, so much to remember. On page 6, you who live insecure in your warm houses, who return at evening to find hot food and friendly faces, let's read together. Consider whether this is a man who labors in the mud, who knows no peace, who fights for the crust of bread, who dies at a yes or a no. Consider whether this is a woman without hair or name, with no more strength to remember, eyes empty and womb cold as a frog in winter. Consider that this has been, I commend these words to you. Engrave them on your hearts when you are in your house, when you walk on your way, when you go to bed, when you rise. Repeat them to your children, or may your house crumble. Disease render you powerless, your offspring avert their faces from you. I believe in the sun even when it is not shining. I believe in love even when feeling it not. I believe in God even when God is silent. Again, found on a cellar wall in Cologne, Germany. Written by a person in hiding. תחת חלפי השכינה, במעלות קדושים וצחורים, כזוהר רקיע מזכירים את נשמות 6 מיליון אחינו ואחיותינו, שנחרקו על קידוש כל הרחמים יסתירם בסתר כנפיו לעולמים, ויצרו החיים את נשמתם. אדוני נחלתם וימלוכו בשלום על משכבם ונאמר אמן. Fully compassionate God on high, to our 6 million brothers and sisters murdered because they were Jews, grant clear and certain rest with you in the lofty heights of the sacred and pure, whose brightness shines like the very glow of heaven. Source of mercy, forever enfold them in the embrace of your wings, secure their souls in eternity. Adonai, they are yours. They will rest in peace. And we say, Amen. In the presence of eyes which witnessed the slaughter, which saw the oppression the heart could not bear, and as witness the heart that once taught compassion until the days came to pass, that crushed human feeling. I have taken an oath to remember it all, to remember not once to forget. Forget not one thing to the last generation, when degradation shall cease to the last to its ending, when the rod of instruction shall have come to conclusion. An oath, not in vain, passed over the night of terror. An oath, no morning shall see me at flesh pots again. An oath, lest from this we learn nothing. We teach our children, we teach them about the Holocaust. We talk to them about what it is that survivors have experienced. We just talk the words. We try to instill in our children the enormity of what happened. For a child to imagine 6 million people, Jews, it's impossible. We also remember the 5 million more that didn't meet the standards of the Aryan race. Maybe they were handicapped. Maybe they were gay. Maybe they had darker skin. Maybe they just didn't match up. These are the evils that went on. And we, 6 million Jews less in the world, it is so imperative on us to talk to our children. I read a small article where a little girl was sitting on a bench next to a man, much like you. And she said, "Sir, what is this tattoo on your arm? It looks just like a bunch of numbers." And the man replies, "Oh, it is a time, it is something I keep to remember." And the little girl says, "Oh, to remember happy times?" And the man says, "No, to remember a time when the world went mad." And she says, "Oh, so you keep it to remind yourself?" And he says, "No, my darling, I keep it to remind you." We are, as I said before, beyond honored, beyond blessed to have with us a survivor, someone who lived to tell the tale. Survivors are getting older, and it is upon us to teach our children, like it said, to speak of it when we go on our way, when we lie down, and when we rise up. Some Jews survived because of the righteous Gentiles. I read at the bottom of page 10. My mother, Martha Dreisen, hid a Jewish woman for over 4 years during the Holocaust because she and Lily Wolf were partners. Their business was destroyed on the Kristallnacht. Those who tried to stop the Nazis suffered also. Many non-Jews suffered because they tried to help. I will never forget the stories my mother and Lily told of the hiding, the escape to America, and the suffering they experienced because of that cruel dictator, Adolf Hitler. There were many, many righteous Gentiles who we need to make sure we give the proper homage, the proper kavod, the proper voice to remember them as well. On page 12, a reading by Viktor Frankl. One evening, when we were already resting on the floor of our hut, dead tired, soup bowls in hand, a fellow prisoner rushed in and asked us to run out to the assembly grounds and see the wonderful sunset. Standing outside, we saw sinister clouds in the west, and the whole sky alive with clouds, forever changing shapes and colors from steel blue to blood red. The desolate gray mud huts provided a sharp contrast, while the puddles on the muddy ground reflected the glowing sky. Then, after minutes of moving silence, one prisoner said to another, "How beautiful the world could be." We will light our candles in memory of the 6 million. And as we do, perhaps we can think of this light multiplying by the hundreds, the thousands, the tens of thousands of people who are commemorating Yom Hashoah today. And we pray that this light, filled with our prayers, reach the souls of those who were murdered for no other reason but that they were a Jew. Page 13. We kindle these lights in memory of the 6 million Jews murdered by the Nazis and their collaborators. May the memory of the righteous be for blessing. Zichronam Livracha. Ashrei Hagafrur Shnisraf V'Hitzit L'Chavot. Ashrei Halecha שבערה בסתרי לבבות. אשרי חלבבות שידעו להדור לכבוד. אשרי הגפרור שנשרף חיצית לכבוד. Blessed is the match consumed in kindling flame. Blessed is the flame that burns in the secret fastness of the heart. Blessed is the heart with the strength to stop its beating for honor's sake. Blessed is the match consumed in kindling flame. If you have someone in your family who perished in the Holocaust, please raise your hand. If you are a Holocaust survivor, please raise your hand. We have one honorable member here. And we have a liberator sitting close by. We continue now with the Kaddish written by Eli Wiesel. But as we recite this Kaddish, we name the names of the concentration camps that took so many lives. Yitkadal Auschwitz, Yitkadash Luz, Shemei Rabbah Oner, Belma Dibra Pirute Babiyar, Vayimlich Malchute Medan, V'chayachon v'yomachon Berkenau, V'chayed Kol Beit Yisrael, Koveno, V'galav Vizman Kariv, V'namska V'yimrameh. Yehei Shemei Rabbah Mevorach Leolam Ulamei Amaya. Yitzvarach V'yishtabach Derishtat. V'yitzba'ar V'yitraman Buchenwald. V'yitnaseh V'yitadar Treblinka. V'yitalev V'yitalal Vilna. Shemei V'kudisha B'richu Bergen Belsen. Le'ela Mauthausen. מן כל ברכתה ושירתה דקה, תושבחתה ונחמתה מינסק, אמירן ביומה ורסה, ויאמרו אמן. יהי שלום הרבה מן שמיה, וחיים עלינו ועל כל ישראל ויאמרו אמן. עשה שלום במרומם, הוא יעשה שלום, עלינו ועל כל ישראל ויאמרו amen. I don't want to put you on the spot, sir, but would you offer us just a few words, please?
What can I say? That I was lucky to survive. I did go to Parkland School where I spoke to the kids. I was a member of a men's club that they arranged it for me to speak to, a few times. And then I went back to Poland, where I was born, and took my children with me and showed them where I lived, and the house is still standing. And unfortunately, I was the only one to survive. But that's all I can say. I was lucky.
Thank you.
Started at a young age, and I'm still lucky that to say that I'm still okay.
Tell us your name.
Pardon me?
Your name.
Maury Saffers.
Maury Safferstein. Thank you. And you, sir, as a liberator, would you please just say a few words for us? Tell us your name, please.
My name is Irving Adler. We eventually went through the entire camp, concentration camp called Buchenwald. And I saw the huge grave, if you will, bodies, dozens and dozens or hundreds of bodies in the grave there. We saw the showers, we saw the gas chambers, we saw a place where the young people, just so that their feet could barely touch the floor, they had to stretch the feet so that they wouldn't choke. And we saw so many things, and a small boy and an older man took us by the hand and walked us through and told us things that we wouldn't know before. And it was just horrific. And it was an experience. I wrote a 10-page letter home to my family. In 1983, Mayor Koch invited me up to Park Road to his office with his staff, Harry Golden, Harold Bellamy, and others. And I was honored to light the first candle of the sixth candle at that reception. And it was just something you can't possibly forget. He was in it. There was so much worse, of course, absolutely. But we saw some of what they went through. We were told Eli Wiesel was there at one time, and so on. It was universal. It was just amazing. So
I want to. No, you said so much, and it's so important. As difficult as it is for us to listen to this, how important it is for us to listen and to bear witness to what you saw, what you experienced, right? So important.
You're good now.
Thank you. As we conclude our service, we are going to sing Hatikva. Hatikva meaning the hope. We began our service talking about faith. Faith and hope go hand in hand. And the hope that Israel brings to us still today, it is so important for us to support Israel in all her endeavors, because she truly is our safe home, our haven from hatred, from bigotry, from prejudice. We'll join together. Hope and life. Shalom.
Shalom.